Oh,
think we record this.
oh no. My thought was, I'm sorry. Apparently I got the wires crossed.
We're doing both things tonight.
Okay. Okay. I was just curious because I be like, I was under the assumption because there again, uh, assumptions make, buttholes out of everybody.
Uh-huh.
So I thought we were going to do, it's like, okay, we're going to record it through stream, but we're not going to go live with it.
Okay, while that's technically possible, that adds like 3 times the amount of work.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because if I were to do it the way you're describing, I would have to then re-upload it to YouTube, which will take forever and a day, and have it go live that way. This way, as soon as it's done, it's there.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So
now, granted, when we do the second recording, which will not be on YouTube,
okay,
that will be different.
Okay, what's second recording? Just clarification.
Strange New Worlds.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay.
All right. So now we have everything cleared out. Everything's
all straightened up.
Yeah, exactly. What are we recording tonight?
Literally, I took what we would normally have done last Friday and moved it to Monday. That is that happened.
I know. I'm joking. I'm completely joking. I was trying to throw you for a loop. It's like, yeah, we're reviewing Care Bears the movie, right?
Quest for Care-a-Lot. I had to stop and think, what is the name of that stupid movie?
That's right.
I only have seen through Nostalgia Critic.
Oh my!
And I'm not even sure it's the right. I said the right name. I just thought, okay, it's not Camelot. It's Care-a-Lot. That's the name of that place where they are from.
Yeah,
I didn't watch Care Bears growing up.
I barely did. So yeah, we are doing Summer Wars with our TAS special with Spider-Man featuring X-Men.
Yes.
So that's gonna be fun.
Okay, we are on Facebook.
Good deal.
If I can hit buttons on here, I'd be doing real good.
We're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitch, and we're live on Facebook.
Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. Okay.
Good deal.
Hi, guys.
What's up?
This is not our normal night.
No, it's
because we actually both didn't get a lot of sleep Thursday night.
Right. Really?
I told you that. As I only got like 2 or 3 hours of sleep myself. The difference was I got to work in air conditioning while you had to work out in the sun. That's why you were more exhausted than I was.
That is true. And plus, I walked to work that morning, that Friday.
Well, that's your problem, not mine.
My thing was that morning.
I don't think you would walk to where I work, is all I'm saying.
No. That would be an interesting walk, though. But so that morning I woke up after maybe like 2
Timothy, no, we are not reviewing Care Bears.
If you want us to do Care Bears, let us know.
We'll have another bad movie month coming up at some point.
Oh, snarf.
No, I just suspect that those are the kind of movies that would do well in our bad movie month.
Okay, fair enough. Laugh out loud? No. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So
it would be like if the Transformers the movie was not so nostalgic.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. Because
anyway,
moving on.
No, you're good. So that morning, either I was nervous about things, obviously, nervous about things. If you know, you know.
Some people know.
Some people know. Not everybody knows. Some people shouldn't know right now. But so those who do know, hush. It's a secret, so keep very, very quiet.
Be very, very quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
We're trying not to spoil stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So that morning, I woke up and I was feeling shaky because normally I get maybe like 6 to 8 hours of sleep a day because I love my sleep. I love being comfortable. And that night it wasn't comfortable. It was hot because I turned my AC on late.
And the storm that came through yesterday hadn't come through yet.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd be like, I'm sitting there just tossing, turning all night. And I finally go to sleep and I wake up when my alarm goes off. I'm like, so I roll out of bed and do the things you normally do, because I kept thinking, I was like, okay, I'm going to drive to work. Not going to happen. So I walk to work, and now, mind you, it's like 7 a.m, and it's already like 85, 90 degrees, but also you're dealing with humidity. So it's like 95 degrees in the morning here in Texas. So I walk to work because I'll be like, you know what? That'll wake me up. I'll get energy from it. No, I didn't wake up probably till like noon. So I called my podcast buddy here and like, hey, be like, I'm not feeling well.
Can you pick me up?
Yes, can you pick me up? That's why I asked.
That was the first thing you asked.
That was the first thing I asked. And the second thing was like, hey, can we delay our review? And Saturday wasn't
Saturday wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And Sunday really wasn't going to work.
No. So here we are on Monday.
Sorry,
we're here on Monday. So the interesting story I was going to tell you a minute ago.
Before I went live?
Yes, before you went live. It'd be like,
so should I mute us so you don't have to?
No. This is nothing bad. It's just one of those very big surprises that you don't be like, I didn't see coming.
You didn't see it coming.
Exactly. So I'm eating dinner, and I get this phone call. I get a phone call from a number I don't recognize. I recognize the name, but the face behind the name has been deceased for a number of years. So I'm like, okay, who in the world is this? And sure enough, it's one of my fellow employees. It's like, hey, XYZ, I'm not gonna be able to make it in. I need you to check in the morning instead of go over to our gas station. I'm like, okay, no problem. So yeah, that was a little out of left field this morning or this afternoon. So
that's not too bad.
No, it's not. It's just more when you're supposed to do. So that means, yeah, I'll like the way my job works. It's more I do one thing and then I'll do one thing and another. So when you're doing checking,
I hate to tell you this, but that's how everyone's job works.
I know that.
We do one thing and then we do another thing.
No, you think? But then it just makes things more complicated because then you gotta get people to do your job, and then people are gonna whine and cry. They have to go do your job when they're doing something else. When you're in a customer service industry and that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's gonna be fun. Or they might expect me to do that and that. I'd be like, no, not gonna happen. Anyways, so yeah, long story short, very brief, not so dramatic of a story. Anyways,
okay then.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we are reviewing Summer Wars.
Yes.
For part of our rewind episode.
Our last rewind of the year.
Yes.
We'll have to set up some more for next year.
Yes.
Because we have more movies to update. But anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Ready to jump in?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
D-Lit.
The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast
Rewind.
Joining me today is a man who somehow was able to decrypt a 256 encryption key in his head. Welcome, Jacob.
Man, sometimes I just don't understand my own genius. Man. I just don't get it. Sometimes it just comes out of thin air. It's like, boop! And then the 80 kicks in. It's just like, what was I doing again?
Well, I just assumed it was a fluke.
It was a fluke. Okay.
Well, I mean, you're not... okay, this is a poor assumption on my part. I assumed you weren't a math guy.
I'm not.
Okay, then.
But like, hey, strokes of genius pop up every once in a while.
Either way,
why thank you? Let me introduce our co-host, a man who he got stuck in the digital world again. Welcome, Drew.
D-Lit, what did I tell you about opening portals? Sure. I believe that when I see it.
I'm not the only one getting picked on here, people.
Apparently. The internet is a scary place when you don't know where you're going.
Yeah. Definitely in the land of Oz.
Yeah, don't go down the red brick road.
Yeah. Yeah, and whales who do nothing.
Exactly. Anyway, yes, we are re-reviewing Summer Wars tonight. A movie that sadly is hard to find if you don't already own the Blu-ray.
Yes.
Oh my word. It is out of print.
Yes.
And it's not streaming anywhere except for Vudu.
On Vudu.
Vudu.
Really?
Yeah. When's the last time you heard that streaming service's name?
Very long time. So, So very interesting.
And you have to rent it there.
Yeah. So interesting story when it came to so we started talking about doing the rewind of this episode. I was like, you know what? Be like, he mentioned, like, you're gonna go buy this movie, right? It's like,
you told me at one point you were thinking of buying it.
Yeah, because it's a really good movie. It's got its flaws, but it's a good movie.
Yeah.
So be like, you know, I do my deal. Let's just go to Amazon to buy the movie. Be like, you can buy a UK version for like $24,
which may work
in this region. You try to find one in region 1, which is the United States, and
$250.
Yeah, you're but like somewhere
on the low end,
somewhere between like 60 to 200. It's like this
which
is insane.
Tells me I am so happy that I paid $20 for it 15 years ago at Hastings. How I miss the Hastings.
Oh my gosh. Rest in peace, Hastings. Be like
that was the store.
Oh my gosh, you're not kidding. The movie that I would go like every Friday and go buy movies because it was the ADD dyslexia thing. Just like impulsive things. It was like go buy movies all the time. But anyways,
so
long,
Out of curiosity, because I did not think to do this.
Ruh-roh.
Did you think to go back to our old Summer Wars episode and get our ratings?
Yep. Interesting story with that. So be like, that was on my mind. And then I got distracted. So no, I haven't.
Okay.
Because I'll be like,
on the off chance that I think I might have done something one time, I'm going to look for something real quick. But I suspect it's not here. I strongly suspect it is not here.
So we might have to pause in the middle of
everything. There may be an edit here.
There might be an edit here or there to find what we rated this movie back in the day, 3 to 4 years ago now.
4 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years ago.
So I probably would have done this as a spreadsheet.
Probably.
If I did it.
So for those who have watched Summer Wars, are lucky enough and blessed enough to actually have a copy of this film and not having to go and either buy a copy of it, which would cost you an arm and a leg, and B, don't pirate.
Never pirate.
No pirate. Arr.
If you can help it.
Yeah, if you can help it. Because there are some movies, some TV shows we just no longer have access to. So I think in those little gray areas, I'm not saying go pirate movies anytime you want, but those films that no longer have media releases or digital releases anymore, that you're going to go buy, spend an arm and a leg to find one copy of it. I think it was the Chipmunks movie, the Chipmunks Adventure. Yeah, that movie is way out of print. I think it's
we had to somewhat cheat on that one.
Yeah, somewhat, but yeah. But if you have seen Summer Wars or you own a copy of Summer Wars, please let us know down in the comment sections down below wherever you listen to us, or on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts. Please let us know what you thought of Summer Wars if you watched it.
Okay, I do not have this in here like I thought I might have.
Darn.
I can find the spreadsheet that I started doing it on.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I only put 7 out of 10 on Frozen.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's referring to.
Wow.
So,
well, wowzers.
I don't know what that was in reference to, because I don't think that was actually either of our reaction rating for that film. But anyway,
yeah.
Apparently, I thought I had this saved somewhere, but I don't.
You
see
dropped the ball, dude.
It
happens.
Either way, I will edit the ratings back in here later. So yeah, that's what we rated it.
Got it. I totally remember that.
Oh yeah, you ready to jump into our spoiler-free thoughts on this?
Yeah, let's drop into that little digital nugget.
Certified fresh and spoiler-free.
I think this is my 4th or 5th viewing.
Really?
Of this film. I've watched it a couple times. This one always, I forget how good it is.
Yeah.
There's a reason this one ended up on our list in season 1 to begin with, and that's because you never hear anyone talk about this film.
No,
you hear everyone talk about Studio Ghibli. The Mamoru Hosoda, you almost never hear anyone talk about. Most people wouldn't even know it's the same guy who did Digimon.
Yeah.
And so I remember this being such a underrated film that nobody talked about, and I felt we needed to review it. And we didn't know how long the show was going to last.
That's true.
I got it on the list as soon as I possibly could, and that's why we got to review it within our first year. And plus, the rolls came up good for that one.
Oh yeah, those years when we did.
That was back when we still were rolling for movies.
Dice.
Yes. But yeah, this one I can't tell you why I originally bought it. I know I was in Hastings because that's what's on the label.
Yeah.
The price tag. I think I was following Funimation's blog at the time, and that's how I knew it was coming up.
Yeah.
And it sounded cool, but I didn't know anything about it. And so I just kind of bought it on a whim.
Fair.
I got home and was like, this is good. This is so stinking good. And granted, the first time I watched it, I'm not even paying attention to the fact of the family or anything. It's like, this fight scenes and this animation is amazing. Oh, we're back with the family. On the first viewing.
Okay, fair enough.
The first viewing, when I was still in my early 20s. Nowadays, it's like, I don't even care about Oz. Let's just throw Oz out. Just let me hang out with this family.
Yeah, that's the thing where, like, when you're in your 20s, definitely you're a guy, it's like, oh my gosh, the action is so cool. And then like you kind of mellow out into your 30s, and you mellow even further, like me, into my 40s. And then it's just like, wow, you start just like appreciating everything.
Oh yeah. This whole movie, I strongly suggest this to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't mean just cartoon lovers or anime lovers or people who are just geeky enough to mind watching an animated movie. I mean, do you like movies?
Yeah.
This is one you should watch.
Agreed.
That's what I mean. I'm like, put this back in theaters. I don't think it was ever in theaters over here, but put it in a theater. I will watch it again.
That would be amazing.
Because this movie is that good. I don't know who we've got to talk to. If it's Crunchyroll now, if it's Sony who owns them, if it's Warner Brothers who apparently farmed this out to Funimation back in the day because they didn't want to adapt it, dub it themselves.
Yeah.
Or do we got to go all the way back to Mamoru Hosoda to get this thing back out? This film should be easily to get a hold of, and everybody should watch it.
Kind of like James Cameron and a lot of his other stuff.
I doubt this is Mamoru Hosoda's fault. I suspect more it's like it was rented out to Funimation. Now they're Crunchyroll. Now they're owned by Sony, and Warner Brothers doesn't want to give Sony any more stuff.
All tied up in legal business.
That's my assumption. I don't know.
Yeah. If you do know, let us know down below.
Or just get it. Talk to the people who know and get
exactly
this re-release because it needs to be.
Yeah, and plus I want a copy and not pay $300 for it. It's insanity.
This movie is so stinking good.
Agreed.
I can't really talk more about it.
No,
not spoiling anything. That's what stinks.
No spoilers.
That is what stinks. So yeah, if you can find this movie, and legally.
Mm-hmm.
Let people who everybody earned their money on this one. Trust me. Go watch it somehow, some way, however you have to. Go watch this film. What are your spoiler-free thoughts?
My spoiler-free thoughts. I think I've watched this movie, I think, twice now. It could be 3. Because there again, I had never heard of this film. The only thing remotely I'd heard about this movie was Digimon the movie, and primarily our
war game is
our war games, that second part of the film. And I think the third movie, the Gold Egg movie, I think that's also the second director, I think. But
he did the first part of it with Ty and his little sister.
Yeah,
with the big Digimon. Yeah, he did that. He did that one. I don't think he did the third one.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
He did the first 2, but not the third one.
Oh, okay. I had it reversed. So, anyways, so I'd watched that, and it's like, wow, that is really, really good. And then this guy recommended it for the show. I was like, oh, okay. And so he let me borrow a copy.
Of course,
borrow his copy because
after I had watched it.
After you watched it, of course. Because that's what you do as podcasters. You're going to help each other out in some capacity form. If you don't live, if you can. So I watched it, blown away. It's like, oh, okay, this is the director. This guy. It's like, wow, this is good. This was,
and ironically, that was the second Mamoru Hosoda film we had watched in the first year.
Yes,
and we were not trying to go through all of Mamoru Hosoda's filmography, but I think we about did by now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it'd be like he did the Digimon movie, the first 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
He did Summer Wars, and what was the other one?
Belle Mirai.
Yeah, Belle Mirai. Did he do
that girl? The girl who leapt through time. That was one of his.
That's right. Yeah. Oh wow, we've done a ton of his stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. We didn't intend to.
No, there was no intention.
There was no intention in this at all. It's just like, oh, this movie looks good. Let's review it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Mamoru Hosoda. Oh, let's look for the cyber dimension thing he's gonna throw in this one. He even threw it in with the stupid family tree in Mirai.
Oh gosh.
Like, because you get 3/4 of the way through the film. Is he not gonna do his trademark digital effect?
Mm-hmm.
3 seconds later, there it is.
At this point, it become kind of a cliche in his films, but not a cliche, but kind of like something you expect.
Common.
Yeah, very common. So going back to my spoiler-free thoughts, I enjoyed the mess out of this film. Watching watching it for the first time, it's like, okay, the family's a little boring. And then you get all the deep dive into Oz and that kind of stuff. I enjoyed that. But I think on the second viewing, I enjoyed the family dynamic and their whole issues of family lineage and this and this and this and this and this. Thought it really dynamic, really interesting, and inspiring in some facets. And then you get into Oz itself, and then you get into the issues with Oz, the issues with our main villain, and how does our family help solve this issue. I thoroughly enjoy it. Would highly recommend if you have a copy, keep it, don't sell it.
Yeah.
Have viewing parties with your friends and watch this movie with your friends. And there again, kind of like Drew said, be like, if you have connections bigger than we do, because we don't have any connections.
So connections? What are those?
Yeah. I don't know. Be like,
because we don't have them.
We don't have them yet. But if you have connections, please let those that have connections with Crunchyroll or Sony or
whomever,
whom what may, let them know, because we really want another release of this film, and I think a ton of people do. This is a film that needs to be shed some light on, give some love, because it is a beautiful and wonderful film about family and family sticking together. So, good film. Go watch it.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and jump into our spoiler-filled thoughts then?
Yes.
The following is a spoiler-filled review for the film Summer Wars. Listener discretion is advised. Summer Wars was written and directed by Mamoru Hosoda who also directed Belle, Mirai, and all those other films we just mentioned. It was also written by Satoko Okudera. The cast, of course, we are doing, because this is an anime film, we are doing the English cast because that's the version of the film we watched. And I'm gonna see if you can figure out what the connection between all of these English voice actors is.
They all voiced in all the other directors' films.
No. Just say, let me read the thing. At the end, you tell me if you can figure out what all the voice actors are going to have in common. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Kenji was played by Michael Sinterklaas, and he played Taki Tachibana in Your Name.
Okay.
Natsuki was played by Brina Palencia. Sorry. Brina Palencia. And she played Chaozu in Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Kazuma was played by Maxie Whitehead, and she played Alphonse Elric in Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay.
Saki was played by Pam Dougherty, and she played Madame Christmas in Full Metal Alchemist. Wabisuke was played by J. Michael Tatum, and he played Tenya Ida in My Hero Academia. Takashi was played by Todd Haberkorn, and he is Natsu Dragneel in Fairy Tail. Yukiko was played by Anastasia Munoz, and she played Gracia Hughes in Full Metal Alchemist. Kazuo was played by Bill Jenkins, and he was Guru in Dragon Ball Z Kai. Mariko was played by Shelley Klein Black, and she played Henrietta in Log Horizon. Ricci was played by Chuck Huber, and he's Android 17 in Dragon Ball Z. Rika was played by Cynthia Kranz, and she played Chi-Chi in Dragon Ball
Z.
Well, Z, yes, but also Dragon Ball in general. Monsuke was played by John Swayze, and he is Gendo Ikari in the rebuild of Evangelion films.
Okay.
I thought that one might throw you a little.
Tosuke
was played by John Bergmeyer, and he's Tien in Dragon Ball. Shota was played by Mike McFarland, and he's Master Roshi in Dragon Ball. Naomi played Lydia McKay, and Kiyomi was played by Lydia. Back up. It wasn't you. It's just these names all.
Oh, I know.
Are all familiar. Naomi was played by Lydia McKay, and she was Ukraine in Hetalia Axis Powers.
Never heard of that one.
You never heard of Hetalia?
No.
I need to introduce you.
Ruh-roh.
Kiyomi was played by Jennifer Seaman, and she was Takius in Ragnarok the Animation. Mansaku was played by Barry Yandel, and he was Henry Henderson in Spy Family. Yorihiko was played by Robert McCollum, and he was Rainer Braun in Attack on Titan. Kunihiko was played by Patrick Seitz, and he was Germany in Hetalia Axis Powers. Katsuhiko was played by Chris Sabat, who was Piccolo and Vegeta in Dragon Ball. Norito was played by Colleen Klinkenbeard, and she is the voice of Monkey D. Luffy in One Piece. Nana was played by Caitlin Glass, who is Damian Desmond in Spy Family. Yumi was played by Monica Rial, who is Bulma in Dragon Ball. Ryohei was played by Jason Lebrecht, who played Jace in Dragon Ball Z Kai. You know, from Space Australia. Oh, gosh. Yuhei was played by Brittany Karbowski, who played Rimuru Tempest in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Shingo was played by Allison Victorin, who played Conan Itogawa in Detective Conan. Mao was played by Sharmi Lee, who played Liechtenstein in Hetalia Axis Powers. Last but not least, Kana, played by Tia Ballard, was also voices Happy in Fairy Tail.
So I'm gonna
Flying cat.
Oh, okay. Flying cat.
The flying cat.
Meow.
So what do all these voice actors have in common?
I would think Funimation.
Yeah, they all worked for Funimation.
Okay, that makes sense.
And every single one of those things I mentioned was Funimation.
Yeah.
They had to use the entire stable for this film. All right. So Kingdom Hearts connections. You want to guess how many?
Oh my gosh. When was this movie made again?
It really doesn't matter because I mean they could have voiced Kingdom Hearts before or after this.
That is true. It was released in Japan in 2009.
2009. So, but also bear in mind, well, yeah, you could have English or Japanese. So yeah.
English, Japanese, or an orchestra, or anybody connected with this, because that's how this little segment.
Well,
goes.
I tend not to use the musical stuff or the background stuff unless I have nobody else to go to.
Oh, okay. So I would probably a good guess, probably 7, 8.
No, lower.
5.
Lower.
1.
Higher.
3.
Lower.
2.
2.
What?
I had 2.
What?
One in English and one in Japanese.
Okay.
The English one was Patrick Seitz, who plays Kunihiko in this. He was additional voices in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
And then in the Japanese version, Sumier Morohoshi, who played Mao in this, is young Kairi in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, really?
Which, yeah, that brings me to the end of my cast list.
Interesting.
What do we got in info and stuff?
All right, so info and stuff. Work for me, baby. Work. All right, so info and stuff. IMDb, it has a 7.4 out of 10. Watch, you can't stream it anywhere. Don't go pirate this movie.
It's annoying you can't go watch this movie.
Yes, exactly. So we watched it on Blu-ray
because I have a copy.
Yes, thankfully. Production was obviously the amazing powerhouse Madhouse, who made the amazing animation in this movie. And distribution for the United States was Warner Brothers, which apparently
no. Warner Brothers was the Japanese distributor, and that's why their thing gets to show up on there.
Oh,
Funimation, who at the time
that's right,
was not owned by Sony.
Yeah,
was not their own company. This was still back when they were owned by a software company.
Okay. So I'd be like, so they gave me this massive list.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the committee for this one, the production committee for this one,
distribution, the whole bit. So Funimation,
yeah.
What are you watching?
You should be watching.
Yeah,
Crunchyroll. You should be watching Crunchyroll.
So a release date, and I didn't put the release date on there. Great, Jacob. Hold on. The release date was August 1st, 2009. And I believe that is we find release date. It feels like we're in season 1 now. Ironically again. Yeah, Summer Wars were released in Japan in August 1st, 2009, and it was premiered in North America on February 26, 2010. So, yeah. So let me get back to my notes. And thankfully, we're 5 years into doing this. We know how to take notes now.
When we remember to actually take notes.
Yes, exactly.
I have no room to talk, so
yeah, exactly. We both do it. All right, so box office. This is for the North American release in 2010. The opening was $1.4 million on December 26, 2010. Its US and Canada gross was $1,412. Its gross in the United States and Canada was $80,000 and $87,768 dollars. Its world gross was $18.4 million. I don't have the transition into yen. So, yeah, let's go with that. So, home release. And all I got to say is Crunchyroll re-release this movie.
Yeah.
That's all we ask. Re-release the stupid movie. Thank you very much. Please, with sugar on top and a little drizzle of chocolate. All right. Summer Wars released in Japan on DVD and Blu-ray on March 3rd, 2010. The DVD release contained a 16-book pamphlet, on stickers, previews, interviews with the film cast. While its first print limited edition of the Blu-ray also included some features, also added the card game which is played in this movie.
Hanafuda.
Okay, Hanafuda.
I know how to pronounce it because that's what Nintendo made when the company was founded in the 1800s.
Oh, that's right. Because they're going to be like, I never heard of this.
I still don't know how to play the game.
Yeah, me either. I'm still confused. Hanafuda. It sounds like
koi
hot koi, or it sounds like hot food to me. But there again, I'm just a stupid Westerner or something. So pardon me for not understanding everything. Hanafuda. Where was I? An art book, a film bookmark, and a making of documentary. These releases were undertaken by Vape. That's probably a distribution arm.
Mm-hmm.
Its first week release of the film became the top-selling Blu-ray in Japan, with an estimated 54,000 copies sold, and surpassed the previous record of Evangelion 1.0. You Are Not Alone. As of 2010, the film is the second highest Japanese Blu-ray debut overall, followed by Michael Jackson's This Is It. Based on pre-orders, Summer Wars was expected to eclipse the sales of another sequel film that I just mentioned a second ago,
Evangelion 2.0.
You Cannot Advance.
Yeah.
On its release in May. Summer Wars also topped the Oricon animation DVD charts with 55,375 copies sold in its first week. The Japanese Blu-ray release of Summer Wars was nominated for a Digital Entertainment Group of Japan, DEG, and Japan award for best interactivity. In Europe, the DVD and Blu-ray was released on November 26, 2010 by Kaizi. Am I butchering that wrong? British distributor Manga Entertainment. Announced in sorry, apparently I got a fly in my throat. Announced in January 2010 that they had licensed Summer Wars in the United Kingdom, and was released in March 2011 in North America. Funimation released Summer Wars on DVD and Blu-ray for the first time on February 15th, 2011. The North American DVD and Blu-ray release included previews and interviews with various cast members. The first copy included art cards to get out enough copies to meet demand, so did not ship with the Oz O cards. Apparently, they're cardboard slip cover.
Yeah, O card. That's the little.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Thing.
Right.
Yeah, like on that one.
Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I have for info and stuff. There's no sequel, as far as I understand.
Unless you count all of Mamoru Hosoda's other films.
Because sometimes, like when you have a director artist like that, they kind of throw everything into one.
Right.
Make this, a multiverse.
Hosoda hasn't actually done that. But anyway,
You never know.
getting into the summary for this.
Yes.
Kenji Koiso is a young student at Kuonji High School with a gift for mathematics and a part-time moderator in the massive computer simulated virtual reality world Oz, along with his friend Takeshi Sakuma. One day, Kenji is invited by fellow Kuonji student Natsuki Shinohara to participate in her great-grandmother Saki Jinouchi's 90th birthday. After traveling to Saki's estate in Ueda, Natsuki introduces Kenji as her fiancé to Saki, surprising them both.
Ruh-roh.
Kenji meets several of Natsuki's relatives and discovers that the Jinouchis are descendants of a samurai, vassal of the Takeda clan, who challenged the Tokugawa clan in 1615. He also meets Wabisuke Jinouchi, Natsuki's half-great-uncle and computer expert who has been living in the United States since stealing the family fortune 10 years ago. Kenji receives an email with a mathematical code and cracks it. However, his actions inadvertently cause Oz's love machine, that's the AI that somebody made, to use Kenji's avatar and hack the infrastructure with the encryption Kenji had inadvertently cracked, causing widespread damage. Kenji, Sakuma, and Natsuki's cousin Kazuma Ikazawa confront Love Machine. Love Machine defeats Kazuma's avatar, King Kazuma, and continues to absorb accounts in the Oz mainframe, which, due to many accounts... sorry. It scrolled up on me.
Never fun.
Okay. Correct. Okay. Which, due to many accounts being connected to devices for public infrastructure, allows Love Machine to cause catastrophic traffic congestion and the disabling of electrical devices. Two of Saiki's relatives, Rika and Shota Jinouchi, discover Kenji's involvement. Shota arrests Kenji, but the congestion causes Natsuki to return them to the estate. Saki calls associates in important positions in Japanese society and relatives who work in emergency services, encouraging them to work their hardest to reduce chaos and damage, comparing the situation to war. Kenji is able to return control of the mainframe to the moderators and engineers, while Sakuma discovers that Kenji actually misspelled one part of the code. Wabisuke reveals that he invented the program and sold it to the United States Armed Forces for a test run and expanding it into virtual intelligence. Saki later encourages Kenji to take care of Natsuki during a koi match. The next morning, Saki is discovered dead by Kenji and the Jinouchis. Her youngest son, Mansuke, explains that she had angina and that Love Machine had deactivated her heart monitor. Kenji, Sakuma, and most of the Jinouchis form a plan to defeat Love Machine with a supercomputer using ice blocks as a coolant, while Natsuki and the others prepare a funeral for Saki. Kenji, along with Sakuma and the others, capture Love Machine, but Shota carries the ice blocks to Saki's body, overheating the supercomputer. Love Machine absorbs King Kazuma and redirects the Arawashi asteroid probe onto a collision course with a nuclear power plant. Meanwhile, Natsuki discovers a will left by Saki and reunites with Kenji and the rest of the group. Natsuki has Wabisuke return home before the family reads Saki's will, asking them to bring Wabisuke back to their lives. Realizing that Love Machine sees everything as a game, Kenji has the Jinouchis confront Love Machine to play Hanafuda Koi in Oz's casino world, wagering their accounts. Natsuki wins several rounds but gets distracted and nearly loses her winnings. However, Oz users worldwide enter their own accounts into the wager on Natsuki's side, prompting the Guardian programs of Oz, the blue and red whales known as John and Yoko, to upgrade Natsuki's account. Natsuki wagers the 150 million avatars given to her in a single hand and critically injures Love Machine, prompting it to redirect the Arawashi toward Saki's estate. Kenji repeatedly tries breaking the probe's GPS while Wabisuke disables Love Machine's defenses. After being revived and assisted by several of the Jinouchi family's avatars, King Kazuma destroys Love Machine. Kenji infiltrates the GPS to redirect the Arawashi away from the estate, destroying the estate's entrance and causing a geyser to erupt. In the aftermath, the Jinouchi family, celebrating their victory as well as Saki's birthday, has Natsuki kiss Kenji after they confess their love to each other.
Aww.
Getting into the trivia for this one. Mamoru Hosoda completed all 500 pages of storyboards for the film at Denny's, working in hugely long 12 to 16-hour shifts. Warner Brothers originally considered localizing the films themselves before licensing it off to Funimation Entertainment.
Fair.
The Guardians of Oz are named after John Lennon and Yoko Ono. That kind of went without saying, probably.
Yeah.
The grandmother's birthday, August 1st, is a clear reference to Odaiba Day, a holiday celebrated within the Digimon fandom that is recognized and acknowledged by many Digimon media producers.
Huh.
The director to Summer Wars, Mamoru Hosoda, has a history with working on and directing Digimon media, most notably a movie he directed, Digimon Adventure, Our War Game, localized theatrically outside of Japan as a part of Digimon the movie, which shares a very similar art style, themes, and plot points to Summer Wars. Lastly, the name of the rogue AI, Love Machine, is a pun.
Really?
AI that spells I in Japanese, and that word means love.
Really?
So the AI is Love Machine because it's an AI intelligence.
Womp womp womp.
It's a bad pun.
It's a bad pun,
but it works.
But it works.
So yeah, that's all I've got for the trivia. What is your first like for this film?
My first like, I guess, would probably change from my first like when we first viewed this film, is the family dynamic. You have poor Kenji, right?
Yeah, Kenji.
Yeah, Kenji, who gets roped into something he does not understand and winds up being such a dynamic and helpful part of the situation, where he is roped into, I get it, I'm visiting my grandmother, and doesn't tell him anything until he is pleasantly surprised that he's supposed to be the boyfriend or the fiance. Fiance. That would be like poor Kenji. Poor Kenji. Yeah, poor Kenji in this moment. It's just more the poor guy doesn't know what he's doing, and then he gets roped because then he his thirst to crack codes and for math,
solve math problems.
He
apparently was going to represent Japan in the Math Olympics.
Yeah, Math Olympics would be interesting. Like, hey, I went to the Olympics.
The Math Olympics.
Oh, okay. You didn't throw a javelin. Okay. Cool.
Well, numerically, I did.
Numerically, I threw a javelin. Womp, womp, womp.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving right along.
Dig-a-doom.
All right. So, I enjoy the dynamics of this family. You have the grandmother who is 98, 99? 90. She's 90 years old. And sharp as a tack. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Reminds me of my grandmother on my mother's side. Oh, my gosh. And you have this enormous family with a enormous history and lineage, and the story that is told, and you finally get to the point where it's they actually didn't win this battle, but they secured a victory in some fashion or form, and the spirit of the family, the camaraderie, the infighting, the in-house drama. And just be like, I enjoy because there again, my first viewing is like, oh my gosh, the battles within Oz are amazing.
Oh yeah.
And then you be like, this kind of it marinates on you, and you start to love the A plot instead of, I guess, would you call it the A plot or the B plot?
I mean, really, the plots are the same.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this film. Don't get me wrong,
agreed.
Okay, well, I would say there are basically three plots, maybe.
Yeah.
There's trying to take back Oz from Love Machine. There's trying to get set up for first the birthday, then the funeral, and then there's the whole thing where, trying to keep Kenji's who Kenji is actually a secret, because then that's a thing. So I guess it's kind of three plots that just keep butting into each other, because you got like a cast of 50 people.
It's all intersected.
Yeah,
it's all intersection. intersected, story beats. But be like the family dynamic is so much fun to watch. And is poor, Kenji is like thrust into this. He's very hesitant, be like, I can't do this. He's introverted. He's very shy kind of guy. And he grows to rise above his problem, where he's put in a situation where he's accused of hacking the mainframe and all this good stuff, but also this family dynamic where I keep going to, and let's just get down to it. Be like, the family dynamic in this family is amazing. The links this family goes to in order to get revenge for their grandmother and grandmother, whatever. But I find that very
the matriarch.
The matriarch. Thank you very much. To get their revenge for their matriarch, and I find that very intriguing. So yes, the family, all 50 of them or something,
or however many there are,
or how many of this big family there is.
So when we reviewed this movie back in 2001, I gave it the subtitle Koi Koi.
Yes.
And the reason I did is because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. At the end of this movie, when we're in the big climax and they're trying to win back all the avatars and such, I'm kind of right there with them going koi koi with the rest of them. It was because this movie does such a good job of not just introducing you to every single member of this family.
Agreed.
To the point where you know who all of them are.
Yeah.
You may only see some of them for like 2 seconds, and some of them may only have a grand total of 3 lines throughout the entire film. But you know who every single one of these characters are. You may not know who's related to who, but let's face it, when you meet a whole new giant family, you never have those connections exactly caught up in your mind.
Yep.
So you feel like you're just right there along with Kenji, and it kind of feels like, especially in those last minutes, you're part of the family too, in a strange way. You're right there with them saying, yeah, koi koi, let's kick this guy's butt. And you feel devastated when you see her lose nearly every account that they have. And then I know this was in our war game.
Yeah.
But when the rest of the world starts coming behind them, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. It's like, is this kind of, you get this weird rush. This is one of the few movies where I feel like I am feeling all the tension and the joy and all the other emotions that the people in the movie are feeling. I'm not saying I don't get worked up sometimes, but a lot of times I'm still watching it as a third party. Basically, I'm watching and observing, but I know I'm not part of it.
Yeah.
And I get empathetic, and that's why and sometimes I do cry when I see some movies nowadays, or I get excited, or I'm like, here comes the good stuff, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this is more like, yeah, let's do this thing. Let's kick this thing's butt right up and down the pavement. And I almost feel like I'm in danger with the rest of it. I actually feel like I'm a part of the movie.
Yeah, you get invested in it.
Strangely, I never feel that way with a movie, at least as far as I know.
Yeah.
But this one, it's like, oh yeah, I'm right along there with them, because let's kick this thing's butt. You understand every single person's why they're acting the way it is, and you understand it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this movie is so stinking good. I really wish this movie didn't end and this was easier for people to watch. Because this movie is it has a ability to suck me in and make me feel like I'm part of this 30-40 member Japanese family, despite the fact I have nothing a part of. I am in no way connected to it.
Yeah.
Other than I'm just watching it on television.
Yeah.
But it just makes you feel like you're right there. And I'm like, oh, this is so good. So yeah, I guess that's really what it comes down to, is like, this movie just makes me feel like I'm there.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's your second like?
My second like would be I guess it would be more like the structure of Oz. itself, because if we look at it now in the 2023s, or
bear in mind this predates Ready Player One.
Yeah, as a movie,
as a book.
Oh, as a book.
Yeah,
really.
This predates that.
I thought
I'd have to double check. I have to double check Ready Player One, but I believe this predates that.
Really? Okay, so interesting. So yeah, the Land of Oz, not Dorothy's, tornado, the whole bit, Land of Oz, but this AI Facebook on crack cocaine virtual world.
Okay, this was around the same time. Sorry, because the book came out in 2011.
Oh, okay, so 2 years later.
Yeah, so yeah, still technically predates. Anyway,
still predates it, but this vast digital world. Sadly, it has no Digimon in it.
What do you call the avatars?
Avatars?
They're basically Digimon without in all but name.
Okay, fair enough.
Heck, a bunch of them look like we even see a Digivolution.
We do. Yeah, we do. That's right.
And that is exactly what it is.
Kind of given, but okay. But I'll get there when I get there. In my dislikes. I'm sorry. The ending of this, how our main heroine gets her power boost, is like, really?
We'll get
there when we get there. Okay, but the world is great, because there can be like, when you're watching it for a second time, you're viewing more of the human side of the film, and I think that's more. It's more it pulls you in more, is the family dynamic, but the digital world of Oz is very interesting. It's not the main thrust of the film. It is just more I have no words. I'm stumbling over trying to say something clever, and I'm falling over just trying to catch my tongue without falling out. So yeah, the Land of Oz. Land of Oz, there's no Dorothy, but this is a very, everything's kind of, it's all realized, and everything it makes it feel like it's actually real, because they're going to be like, we look in, from our perspective now in 2023, it's like, wow, that would be like, we kind of do that with social media now a little bit, but it's not immersive. Well, it isn't even immersive, really. It's more be like you build an avatar, you just do everything.
Well, I mean, this is somewhat based off of the quote unquote social MMOs that were really popular in the early 2000s. What was they called? I know there was a Sims on it, basically virtual chat rooms, but this has a lot more functionality in it, since apparently you can do your entire job through this stuff. But which, let's face it, that's not the smartest thing they could have done.
No, it's not.
But anyways,
so yeah, the world of Oz, I find it very intriguing, and it'll probably become our own world at some point.
I hope not.
Scary.
I hope we have better than 256 key encryption by that point, but then an AI probably could break through that too.
Yeah,
that's okay. Let me get. I have an issue when it comes to that, but I'm going to talk about Love Machine for a short minute here, because he is actually my second like.
Really?
Yes, because when we first watched this years ago, I just kind of looked at him as a virus. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, this is not how viruses work. This is so imaginative. It's not even funny. I'm watching it now in this age of AI art and AI and the AI writing and stuff that we're starting to see coming into houses, and knowing that by all technical accounts, that's not true AI. The same way Love Machine is not true AI. Yes. It's all machine learning algorithms, and it's scary how much they got it right.
Yeah,
because that is how that would work. If you, as long as you got curious enough to just keep trying and poking at other things, instead of just and just set it up with where it liked to play games. And granted, there's still a little bit of futuristic like tomfoolery going on.
Yeah.
With how it works, but honestly, it's believable.
Yep.
And I could see like you get as the AI technology gets better and better, it's like, wow, if it can do that, we have no chance. Especially when it gets vindictive.
Yeah. Very vindictive.
And the thing is, that's great about even though this thing seems to have a personality, it's still acting very logically.
Yeah.
Because it's not getting revenge when it throws the satellite towards their estate. It's not doing that in vengeance. It can't do it in vengeance. It's a logical, it's just ones and zeros doing what they were programmed to do, and that's take out everything that will stop it from doing its job. Which is like, wow, it's like you can tell it's just a force of nature that we created. And ironically, when you create something thinking it's going to be the ultimate thing, it always hurts the ones you love most, which is what it nearly did to Wabi-Skay.
Yeah.
Wabi-Skay's family, including Wabi-Skay himself at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man. I thought they handled the character of Love, the Love Machine character so good in this.
Yeah.
So yeah. What's your third like?
You pricked it with a pin on that one. Wabi-Skay. I enjoy when you get the black sheep of the family shows up, and everyone's like revolted. Oh my gosh, why are you here? And then you have what's the how do you pronounce the girl's name? Natsuki. When not be like Natsuki, oh my gosh, be like my favorite uncle's here. And you get his backstory and like how he's a not like, it's a family friendly show. We're not gonna say what you would call people like that because that's just terrible. Why would you call someone like that? But be like, he's the illegitimate son of the grandfather. But I love the story where he comes back and he's this, he comes across this very antagonistic kind of character that he doesn't like the grandmother, and then it kind of slowly reveals that he's done everything to bring honor back to his family by getting the family fortune back, and that Wabi-Skay is he's trying to do the right thing. Even though the grandmother gave him money, he's trying to make his family proud in what he did with Love Machine, and obviously the dynamic of him be like this wasn't his fault. He created it, but he didn't release it onto Oz, with the American military doing that, which is, that's scary. To create something that you're created in order to advance AI and trying to bring honor to your family, and then the organization or government or military who buys it test runs it on your big social media interactive platform. And it's just like, and he's totally be like, hey, this is not my fault, you can't blame me for this. And of course people want to find scapegoats and be like, first it was Kaji, right? Kenji. Yeah, it was first Kenji, and then it was Wasuke, because they're always trying to find a scapegoat with everybody. But everybody who is in this very large realm of a family are actually innocent. They'll be like, you have, our first guy be like, he was the fall guy, and then you have Wasuke,
Wabi-Skay.
Good. I'm terrible with names tonight.
Well, these are hard names. So
yeah, Wabi-Skay.
They're not names that we as Americans normally say.
And there again, I'm trying not to look at my notes every time I say something, so it makes it a little more difficult. But I love Wabi-Skay's story. Be like, he's probably the most fleshed out character there is in this entire movie. And I love that he is begrudgingly allowed back in order to help. But like obviously on the death of the grandmother, he comes back, and he's trying to do the right thing, but also he's trying to take revenge for his grandmother's mother.
Him, it would be mother.
His mother's or his adopted mother's death due to an AI.
Yeah. There's only 3 generations.
Yeah.
Really, well, 4 if you count the kids.
Yeah. And we don't really know the kids.
Well, they get something, but they're just still kids.
Yeah, they're just,
they do what kids do at family reunions.
Yeah, that's true.
Run around, be in the way, and say, "Oh, we're not doing anything."
Right. Like we haven't been there before ourselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But oh man, I remember those times. They were so much fun. Anyways, so yeah, it was the
Wabi-Skay.
Wabi-Skay. Thank you, Wabi-Skay. His story. I enjoy that tremendously. So yeah, that's my third like.
My third like for this is also in a way Wabi-Skay, but it's the relationship between him and Granny.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing. She had no reason to when they're going through his backstory.
Yeah.
We actually see it from her point of view in the note where she's talking about how the first time she saw Wabi-Skay, she decided to raise him like her own.
Yeah.
She has no reason to do that.
Very true.
Granted, we have no idea how she actually reacted to his father.
Mm-hmm.
But
true.
She knew that wasn't this kid's fault.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course he kind of backstabs her over the time
mm-hmm.
and all this other stuff, and has been gone for years. And when he gets back, we find out he's the one who wrote the code for Love Machine.
Yeah.
And he's trying to pass off like, no, this is a good thing because we're going to get all our money back. And she nearly stabs him with this ancient pole arm.
Yeah.
I'm like, and she says, get up and fight like a man.
That was good.
No, it wasn't fight like a man. Get up and die like a man.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
And yet it's still, and granted, we don't really know how she felt about Wabi-Skay in the end, because that who knows how long it's been in that book.
Yeah.
But that still was her last wishes. Is like, he's just a boy.
Yeah.
He doesn't. And the entire time I'm watching that, the thought that came to my mind was, as Christians, that's us.
Yeah. Agreed.
We had no reason for God to accept us when he decided to adopt us into his family.
That's true.
And no matter how bad we screw it up, we're still going to be in the family when everything's said and done with, just like Wabi-Skay was.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of a beautiful image of that.
Agreed.
And it was nice to get that reminder that is how things are.
Yeah. Agreed.
So yeah, but that relationship that we see between Wabi-Skay and Granny is just, it's in a strange way the most heart-wrenching thing in this film, and also the prettiest, most beautiful.
Yeah, it's I don't want to say it's ironic, but when Granny passes away after that duel to the death with Wabi-Skay. It's something like, it's like,
if I had an easier name for him, I'd give it to
no. You're good. You're good. Because they're gonna be like, I'm trying to focus on the camera and not look at my notes every 2 seconds to find the name. But Wabi-Skay, be like that last encounter, be like, I guarantee that tore him apart.
Yeah.
Because
it tore her apart.
It tore her apart.
I mean, it's not 12 hours after this she's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's this again, it's very, very touching. Wabisuke is like he's trying to do the right thing and trying to be like, I'm trying to I did everything for you. I did everything for this family. And yeah, it's so touching. So touching. And it's like, yeah, we are sheep that are lost that, need Jesus, and be like, we are embraced once we accept him as Lord and Savior. And when we do mess up, we ask for forgiveness. And we're still, because even though we, I think it's an illustration in the Gospels where Jesus gives the illustration of the one lost sheep, where he goes out of his way to go find that one lost sheep, and he brings it back to the fold, which that is a beautiful illustration for that. So yeah, completely agree.
So what's your first dislike for this film?
Okay, so we recently did an episode with Retro Rewind podcast.
Yes,
with our favorite Captain Roy. Hi, Roy. And PaulJPowers.com, where we reviewed Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home with whales in it.
The one with the whales.
And my first dislike is stupid whales in this stupid movie. I'm not saying the movie's stupid, but the whales are the most useless. I mean, like, they're the Guardians of Oz.
And they do
absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
May I defend?
Maybe.
They were not actually programmed to do anything.
But they are Guardians.
They are mascots for whatever stupid flavor text this Oz world has. That's all they are.
The only thing which makes no sense to me is
the whales did not even give her the really non-existent power upgrade.
Yeah,
the computer did it and played an animation of it coming from the stupid whales.
Yeah, agreed. But they're gonna be like, we see the whales in the beginning of the film, and they float by and they're credited with giving her this power boost. They're supposed to be the Guardians. Like, I understand there's
no abilities.
They no ability whatsoever. So why do you call them Guardians? Be like,
lore. Flavor text in a video game. You want to know something? They're NPCs. Do you know what NPCs do in a video game?
Nothing.
They give you quests and then stand around waiting for you to bring them back.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
They
are NPCs. They're the biggest NPCs I've ever seen.
Yeah, and they do nothing.
Because they're NPCs.
NPCs do something.
No, they don't.
They give you information. They're like, hey, here's this thing. Go find it. These are like, nope, we don't do jack crap.
She did, in some strange esoteric way, complete a quest and got loot.
Oh, jeez.
I did say it was strange and esoteric.
Yes, agreed. The stupid whales, they do nothing in this film. They're described as the Guardians of Oz. Do something. Be like, you have this big virus. Be like, you think Guardians, we can protect Oz. No.
You are mad because the flavor text given to us at the beginning that was just setting up the world of this weird internet browser client mentioned that these were they say Guardians. Let's be honest, what the Japanese word for that would have been gods of this world, and they do nothing.
Yeah.
Much like most of the Japanese gods, from what I understand. But that could be wrong there. Don't quote me. All I'm saying is those two NPC whales, as stupid as they are,
agreed,
are nothing more than animation and models that do nothing.
I agree.
They were never intended to actually fight back against hacking. They are not part of the antivirus program of this thing. You know who was?
They don't call them Guardians.
You cannot separate computer from lore, can you?
I'm joking half of this. Come on. But be like, when you set up a character, it's like, these Guardians are the gods of this universe.
It's a sales pitch.
I don't care. Do something with them.
They could have left them out and I would have been happy. But
that is true, because they do nothing in the film. there again, I am being very, I'd be like, I'm pushing this whole I'm mad at the whales thing because we did the thing on retro, but this is more, it's like, wow, they give, our lead female protagonist her power up, and they don't do anything in the film. I understand where you're coming from. I do.
Let me give my first dislike, and you will understand.
Okay,
a little more.
Okay, there again, I'm
Her
joking.
"quote unquote" power up
Mm-hmm.
was not a power up.
No,
it did not give her any extra luck playing Hanafuda. It did nothing but give her a new skin.
Yeah.
Then they treat it like she's become a diva, a golden goddess diva.
Yeah.
It's like, no, she's just got a new skin. She has a different. They could have made her look like Harley Quinn, for crying out loud, for the amount as much difference as it made. But yeah. Don't quit treating stupid stuff as if it did something, because all it did was change her character model.
Mm-hmm.
It gave her no additional abilities.
True.
She could still get her butt kicked by King Cosma.
Yeah, that's true.
It did nothing.
Yeah.
Besides, she'll never use that skin anymore because she doesn't actually play the games.
No.
She just uses it as her texting client.
Yeah.
So, anywho,
yeah.
What's your second dislike?
My second dislike is, like, again, at the end of this film. So we have this game, what I'm going to call Koi Koi, because I can't remember the name of the game.
Hanafuda.
So we have this game of Hanafuda, who's mentioned throughout the beginning. I said it wrong, didn't I?
You said Hanafudu.
Hanafudu.
Hana. Say it with me.
Hana.
Ha. Na.
Nah.
Fu. Foo.
Foo Fighters.
Say what you will. I have never had to fight any foo. They've kept us in good shape. They're obviously doing their job.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's Hanafuda.
Hanafuda.
It rhymes.
Hanafuda. Am I saying that right? Hanafuda. Yes. Hanafuda.
I swear, if you say Hanufudu here in a minute,
you're gonna make me say it by accident. Let's take it from the top. Hanafuda.
Talk about all this is staying in.
Hanafuda. And, like, I never heard of this game until I watched this movie. So
well, why would you? You have no reason to know Japanese poker.
Exactly. That's good. That's the other thing I'm going to bring into.
It is basically Japanese poker.
Yes, yes, I'm getting there. So Hanafuda, I'm saying that right? Yes. Hanafuda is, it's, like Drew said, it's a form of gambling game, and apparently everybody in this family loves it. The grandmother, everybody loves it. So the point of, they bring Hanafuda, and the point where they're like, oh, they've be like, oh, here's all our avatars, but we can beat you in Hanafuda. And so the director's love of reusing different elements in, like, what he did in War Games and whatever, has that very similar vibe, but in this way, unlike in Digimon, where it's more like, oh, we're just gonna give our energy, we're gonna give likes or emails or whatever it is. I know I use likes, wrong word.
No, actually, you said give him our energy. I'm thinking, are we in Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Is she conjuring the spirit bomb?
Well, it is Funimation.
But it's not Toei.
I know.
Or Akira Toriyama.
Yes. But in my mind, I'm thinking, like, wait a minute. All these people who still have their avatars know how to play Hanafuda.
No.
And all over the world.
That's not how that.
So they're giving their avatars to. Just help me understand this, because just to me, it's like we're using that same theme. But just for some reason, it didn't make sense to me.
Here's the thing: what they are betting
Yeah.
in this
They're betting
is
their avatars.
avatars.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Now, we say avatars here. We are really need to be saying accounts.
Yeah.
And remember how powerful a Oz account is in this world.
Yes.
If whatever you have authorization to, your account has authorization to. And if your account gets stolen, then whoever steals your account has the authorizations to do whatever. Yeah. So
that makes sense.
When she at the very end bets all her family's accounts for that's what she's winning back. She's winning back the accounts, much like you might win back money or stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
What it comes down to is that very last one, everyone is, and do not ask me how this works in game because I don't think it should.
Yeah,
but they are giving her their accounts to bet against it, because if she wins, as we see, it's going to make it to where he can't ante up and pay into it, and he would automatically lose.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
He actually ends up keeping he only ends up keeping one particular account, which of course was Kenji's.
Yeah. So with all of that said, with a little more explanation, thank you, Drew, for that. My second dislike would be, okay, so you're betting the fate of all of Oz, all these people accounts, everything of the world on a gambling game, and you don't know if you're actually going to win or not. I would
like to point out that Wabi Skate agrees with you on the stupidity of this.
Oh, I agree.
Now, but here's how I will defend.
Okay.
They could not. They had already tried to defeat him with combat.
Yeah,
with King Cosma.
And
that didn't work.
Yeah, he got numbed.
So they had to approach the problem from a different perspective.
Yeah.
They know from Wabiske that the AI likes games.
Yes.
So it wants to play games.
True.
So they had to give him a tempting game to play.
I agree.
That would then, if he were to win, give him more of what he wanted. And what did he want more than anything else? Accounts. That's what he was programmed to get. So he that's why they used the Hanafuda thing. It was really their last thing in order to get enough accounts off of him.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they didn't need all the accounts.
Yeah.
They needed one account, whichever one was in charge of that stupid satellite.
Yeah.
Because if they could get that one back, they could stop the satellite from falling or have it go off somewhere else. And somehow he was able to mess with the satellite before he gave that account back. I don't understand this, by the way.
Yeah.
Because then they should, well, by that point, it would have, the satellite would not have been able to actually be probably not kept from falling.
Right.
So it was at that point just trying to get it off to somebody's thing. And that's why he was trying to, keep the encryption going. Which is why he still kept Kenji's account, because it had access to the encryption keys.
True.
But anyway.
Yes.
That's why they used the betting, the gambling on there. And plus the family was good at playing Hanafuda.
I agree. But just my main problem is like you are betting everything on a card game which you don't know the outcome of.
Then let me ask you this. What would you have had them do?
I have no idea. It's a great it's a great idea, but just for me, for someone who is be like, it's like that is a real huge risk.
So
to play a card game with.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
It was a gamble either way. They had no idea if they were fairly certain Love Machine would do it, but Love Machine had gotten smarter than its original programming. Maybe it had found a way to reprogram itself.
True.
There's nothing saying that Love Machine couldn't have they just ignored them.
That
it was
true.
Anything they do to try and defeat it.
Yeah,
was a gamble.
Yeah.
So why not? If it's all a gamble anyway, what's one more gamble if you think you might have an advantage?
I agree with you there.
Now, granted, had that game gone on much longer, Love Machine probably would have learned Hanafuda to a point where they would not be able to defeat him.
Yeah.
It was not necessarily trying to beat Love Machine at Hanafuda. It was winning back enough accounts before it learned how to beat them.
Yeah.
That's
Fair.
what it was.
Fair.
So anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
It was a gamble either way, is all I'm saying.
I agree. I just looked at it and was like, okay. There again, this is a dislike. This is not a I'm going to hammer so hard that they gambled everything on a card game. But I just like
you could say the same thing about so many movies that we both enjoy.
Agreed.
I mean, think back to, ironically, War Games. Not our War Game, War Games.
Yeah.
They bet the entire world on teaching the computer that tic-tac-toe was impossible to win.
Yeah. And 1980s.
And that made it reevaluate how it looked at the game, what it thought of the game of global thermonuclear war.
Yeah.
It's still a gamble. There's nothing saying that could have worked. That should have worked.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's I'm not saying you're wrong for disliking it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what else would they have done?
Yeah, agreed. Well, I there again, I enjoy it. I just like, to me, it's just more like, I don't know. So there again, it's a slight dislike because there again, I don't have a whole lot of dislikes about this movie. So the Wells was more like, we're talking about Wells now because we talked about Wells earlier. And I just thought it was a really, this. And then my second like was like, oh, they're gambling to save the world. It's like, meh. There again, that's my second dislike. Nothing real serious. Just like, okay. And plus, I'm playing it up because I like to be goofy.
Yep.
Yep. All right. What's
anyway,
your second dislike?
My second dislike for this film. How on earth? Okay, so here's the thing. We're set up that Kenji was going to represent Japan in the Math Olympics. So we get the idea that he's extremely good at math.
Apparently. That
makes it make perfect sense as to why he was able to break Oz's encryption without realizing that's what he was doing the first time, even though he missed one letter.
Yeah.
That was just dumb luck in reality.
Yeah.
But so that's believable.
Yeah.
Getting it a second time, it's like, wow, you really are good at math. Kudos to you, kid. The third time. Okay, this is starting to get ridiculous. But at least every single time you've done this, you've done it with pencil and paper.
Mm-hmm.
You calculated it that way to check your work and everything. The fourth time, where you did it in your head, you expect me to believe this guy is so good at math.
Yeah.
He can defeat 256 character-based encryption, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. And that last time is when he's under extreme stress and doing it in his head and typing as slowly as he possibly can.
And they have 2 minutes, or at least a minute.
I'm like,
they're stretching this out a lot.
Oh yeah, but I'm still looking at it going, okay, if you can do this, there is no reason anyone could have beaten you for the Japanese team of Math Olympics. You ought to win a Nobel Peace Prize for doing this. Because you did all that in your head on that last one. And it's unlike the first one, which would have been based, which we saw was based at least on some form of human writing, some poem or something. I do believe the computer one's going to be complete gibberish when you translate it out.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it 3 times? Once in his head? There's believability.
Yes.
And then there's absolute ridiculousness. And unfortunately, as much as I love the rest of that last bit of climax where we're seeing that time coming down, and he's like going,
yeah, it's
like, I'm sorry, I'm not believing that you're able to do this math in your head, especially since I see no order of operations. Yeah, I just see random numbers. Granted, I don't know math. I'm not a math guy. But yeah, I just have a hard time believing this guy was able to beat 256 in character encryption 4 times.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I am also assuming the code changed each time, which it should have.
Yeah.
But anyway, what's your third dislike?
My third dislike, now granted, this is like a nitpick because towards the end of this movie, things
like all your years haven't been
they're ridiculous. Whales. The second one was
that'd be whales here.
Yeah. Wells, card game, and my third, a falling satellite. So a falling their big premise is to stop the falling satellite, which is apparently a nuclear weapon. Okay. Am I saying that right? Okay, it's a nuclear weapon. Am I saying this right?
They did not say it was the nuclear weapon. It really wasn't a nuclear weapon. It wasn't a nuclear vessel. It wasn't a nuclear vessel. That was supposed to kind of just be a telescope that had some kind of capsule that it could send back to Earth, and it would use the GPS signal to get it there. The problem was that Love Machine had so many of these things targeted, and 95% of them were nuclear power plants.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That was the problem. That was if it had hit a nuclear power plant, might as well be a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
That's why
that's what I thought.
That's why when it blows up the entrance to the place at the very end, there's not like a mushroom cloud over the thing as they're singing happy birthday to dead granny.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought. Is like, thanks for the clarification. Because I kept thinking it was like, it's not nuclear, so it's a bullet coming down the planet.
Pretty much.
So
it would have destroyed the house had it hit it and killed everyone inside.
Yeah.
But it was not a nuclear weapon.
So here's my problem with this. So you have this object falling from space to Earth, and there again, its trajectory is being altered every once in a while. But like, it hits. Be like, these things will probably hit at about 500 miles an hour. Be like beyond terminal velocity.
It would be up to terminal velocity, which means it's not falling any faster.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So my thought was something of that magnitude is going to put out some kind of like electromagnetic pulse when it through the back me up on this.
I'm trying to think if a falling object,
like a shockwave.
There was a shockwave. It nearly destroyed the house too.
Yeah. So here's my point. Like, it destroys the house. It almost destroys the house, but the television comes back on. Because I'm thinking it would have knocked out power at least. That's my thought. Not necessarily. But I kept thinking
this was not going fast enough, I think, to actually create. Okay, from my understanding, what makes an EMP occur in an atomic bomb is the actual energy output of the bomb itself, of the reaction.
Yeah,
that's what causes that EMP. It is not necessarily the impact of an object that does that.
Yeah.
It did create a shockwave, and the shockwave did injure the house somewhat. But because of the angle of everything, I think of the stuff inside, it was be more just like a heavy earthquake more than anything else. The luck is the fact that the TV didn't fall over.
That is true.
Because it was a flat screen television and it's just sitting on a table.
Yeah.
So
that would be
more likely that it should have fallen over than I think stopping electricity. Because admittedly, you can't tell where in that castle, basically, where the electricity is coming in at.
That is true.
Granted, it would all had to been patched in over the course of the last 100 or so years.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. There's no way of knowing. The only way I think it would have actually caused what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is if it had taken out a power line.
Yeah.
And that technically could have happened with the shockwave, but
Yeah,
if
that's what I kept
the
thinking.
if the electricity lines were on the other side of the castle from where it hit the hill, because it was on top of a hill.
Yeah.
The hill could have blocked some of that shockwave and had dissipated enough that it didn't actually take out any of that. And plus, the entire castle is far enough above the town that the shockwave probably rattled a few windows and maybe have to. So the people closer may have to replace their roofs.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse, but
yeah,
it was going to be a targeted attack at that point when when he decided not to hit the nuclear reactors.
Yeah, I found it just be like it's funny at the same time ridiculous that be like Love Machine went from be like, oh, I'm going to target nuclear facilities and all this great stuff, but no, I'm just going to target these family that's really hacking me off.
Because
it's the
from an illogical point of view, the problem from what it could see was not humans. It was this family.
Yeah.
It was the one that was giving it the most grief.
Yes.
The most trouble. And so it had to eliminate that part of the problem. Mathematically, that's what it had to do. And it figured out the best way was to take them out, but it didn't. But if they found out too soon, they would have escaped. That's why I think from the beginning, when that timer starts resetting, and it throws up all the pictures of all the nuclear reactors, their house is in there somewhere, but there's so many other stuff there you can't see it, and it was the target all along.
Yeah.
So, because it was already obviously aiming towards that, there's no way it could have.
Yeah.
Even if it was heading towards Fukushima, which I'm guessing that would be the closest nuclear reactor to there, it would not have been able to reroute that quickly. It had to have already been heading towards their house. So
I would
because
agree.
he could take care of the rest of humanity. It's just one family that's giving him trouble.
But also, doesn't it say during that point where it says, be like Love Machine seems to be redirecting one of the satellites?
Because that satellite was originally being set up to do something else.
Yeah.
And he redirected it to drop that capsule on someplace on Earth, because it was the only thing really that was a weapon, I guess, that it could do that with.
Yeah.
Now, the real question is, why couldn't you do that with every other satellite up there? Do you know how many satellites are in orbit?
Yeah.
And all of them, if they crashed at the same time, would not be good.
No, it wouldn't.
And all it would have to do is fire every single retro rocket to force it back to Earth. It didn't matter where any of them landed.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to let them do the retro fire for a soft landing. It's going to haul and hit at the same time. He could even aim it for certain places. He only did one.
Yeah.
Because he only tried to take out this one family that was giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
Because it was thinking the whole time. It was never not at any point was it being stupid.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I'm not saying that like any at all. This AI was being stupid, but I think the plot at the very end gets a little goes over the top with everything, but it's good. It's a little over the top, but it's good. That's all
not
I'm saying.
Over the top, but anyway.
Anyways,
I'm not gonna fight you over this. It's your opinion.
Yeah.
My third dislike for this, and you I think you understand it's hard coming up with dislikes for this film.
Yes, agreed.
My third dislike for this film, and this is such a nitpick, the baseball mom breastfeeds her kid in one scene.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. That's beautiful in certain ways. And this is not done sexy. It's not annoying, but I'm sitting there and you hear the baby crying and she realizes she's got to go feed it. I'm thinking she's going to give her a bottle. And the next thing it's like, that's not a bottle.
Well, it is in a way.
We don't see anything.
Right.
Granted, but it's there. And this is just me being kind of prudish a little, I guess.
Uncomfortable, maybe?
Uncomfortable. It made me very uncomfortable. And like I said, this is very nitpicky. I have 3 weeks ago, we saw a lot worse than this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Agreed.
4 weeks ago, too.
Yeah.
But
one of those.
One of two of those. Beginning of August.
True.
But yeah, that just it made me very uncomfortable watching it, especially since this is a sad scene.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm awkward and I'm like feeling bad that, Granny died and they're having to deal with all this. And
you get
like, I get it. It's like you're doing what you have to do because that's all the family can do in that moment is what they have to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And putting one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like at that moment, I was like, well, there's a reason I can't easily suggest this to some people. Not that it's bad because, like I said, you don't see anything.
Right.
But
because it shows there a mother breastfeeding her child.
There are some people who would say you shouldn't do that in public. And I know these people.
Okay.
And I can't say that, and I can't suggest to those people to watch this film.
Okay.
Because I would hear nothing else back from it but that.
Okay.
Just saying it's awkward. And I was trying to find things to dislike about this film.
So you chose breastfeeding. Which I get.
You chose whales and a card game. This is not the first movie we have seen as a part of this podcast where the world's fate was decided on a card game.
True.
Just no one was going to the shadow dimension this time.
Yeah, because they don't want to
the shadow realm.
It's not where the shadow knows.
And he knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men. Anyway, so what are you rating this film?
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna give it a 9. Be like it's a beautifully well done film. It's got be like my little hiccups were apparently just silly beyond belief.
They are.
Yeah.
They're yours.
He admits it. They're silly.
They're all three of ours are silly.
Okay.
This
might all 6?
6, yes. All because that's the problem. You agree with me. This is a hard movie to come up with stuff.
Agreed.
And it's not like we can say like it's My Neighbor Totoro, which was a perfect film.
Yeah.
Virtually. Because I'm looking at this going, well, it's not 100% perfect. I just have a hard time coming up with a problem.
Yeah, so it's a solid 90 for me. Yeah, it's a swallow of water. So yeah, be like it's a great film, wonderful film. Families go watch it. Now, if you have a problem with breastfeeding, like
or whales,
or
believing in the heart of the cards,
or something like that, be like maybe not the movie for you, but overall, this is a great movie. It's a great movie about family. It's about unity as a family, trusting each other, and the shenanigans that go along with it, and defeating an AI who wants to take over the world.
Of course.
What's yours?
You don't even know why I said of course, do you?
That's from.
Okay, you do.
Yeah, I think
Street Fighter 2.
Oh,
Street Fighter the movie.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Anyway,
I thought it was from Indiana Jones film.
No.
Okay.
9.5.
Really?
I'm giving it a 9.5. I can't give it a 10 because it's not a perfect film.
Agreed.
It's as close as you can get without being perfect, I think.
Very true.
So because I do have such a hard time finding dislikes for this film.
Yeah.
I'm sure other people will watch it and find stuff worse than I did, but good night. This is just a fun film that I already want to watch it again. So yeah, I'm giving it a 9.5.
All right.
Next week,
what are we?
For watching? Those of you who are watching live, we will not actually be having an episode.
Sad.
But we do plan on releasing something Labor Day weekend. Because, and we have not announced this on the regular show yet, we're getting ready to review Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4.
That is true.
And instead of having it be a part of our regular episode, like the X-Men episode, X-Men segment is going to be at the end of this episode, we're recording them separately.
Yes.
And for Labor Day weekend, we are going to be releasing our animated series segment on the Strange New Worlds Lower Decks crossover episode, Those Old Scientists.
Love it.
So keep an eye out for that. Of course, by the time this episode comes out, Those Old Scientists may already be out for you. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, yeah, keep an eye out for that. On the other side of the intermission, we will be talking about what we've been watching, stuff in the news, and Spider-Man
does whatever a spider can.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest checking out Stunning and Brave, where each week hosts Chris Cowan of the Babylon Bee and Nate Henderson of Some Boring Budgeting Job confess their privilege, spotlight stunning social media posts, and fabricate outrage, all while keeping you super woke and enlightened. They will make you laugh. That's right.
You have no choice.
Check out Stunning and Brave at stunningandbrave.net.
The Cellcast would like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming, PaulJPowers.com,
and this person whose name I can't remember.
To get your name on the show, plus uncut episodes, early access to the Cellcast Plus reviews, and special art from Jacob, please donate to us on Patreon.
So, Jacob, I have a question for you.
What have you been watching?
All right. So what have I been watching? As I scroll back down. All right. So for what I've been watching, I watched, I believe, the 9th episode of My Adventures with Superman. It was a little anticlimactic, but it's still good. Because there can be like we're living in the modern world where most television series don't last 8 episodes, mostly. Going back to my childhood, where episodes probably like you had like what would they be, like 50 episodes in a week, 50 episodes in a year.
Over here it'd be closer to like 24.
Okay, 24. Sorry, 24.
This isn't Japan.
Sorry, okay, 24. But like you had 24 episodes, and now like with our more modern, shorter attention span be like worse than mine, we get maybe like 8, 9. This is the 9th episode, and they're going into a 10th episode with this. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm curious where they're going, and I hope they don't sideline Jimmy. I'm just saying. What else have I been watching? So while I was doing notes last night, so I saw this documentary, and I looked at it for a fraction of a second one time and just forgot it. It's called Waking Sleeping Beauty on Disney Plus. So this is a documentary they did documenting the era where Jeffrey Katzenberg and Roy Disney and oh come on, what's his name? Like he was head of Disney for years, not Walt.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank, but I'll figure out in a minute. So it's like these it's the conflict with, I'll be like, I know you guys probably in the comments would be like, it's this person, Jacob, how are you this dumb? It's like attention span the size of a gopher. Thank you very much. So I'll be like, it's this really interesting because it starts when you got this reshuffle in Disney in the 80s, getting into be like into the 90s, into the Renaissance, to the point where Katzenberg leaves Disney. And it's just really interesting perspective on Disney at the time, because from where they moved all the animators out into, out to the boonies, away from the studios, they had to create all these wonderful masterpieces to the point where like Katzenberg is on the way out. They're building a new studio for the animators, and it's poor Katzenberg thinks he'd be like he's being left out in the dust. And I found it really, really, really intriguing. So it was like, yeah, if you want a really good documentary that documents that certain section of the Disney Renaissance, that's a thing to watch on Disney Plus. You subscribe to Disney Plus. Okay. I watched a little bit of During the Ocean. This one was over World War II and the invasion of Normandy. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. That was really interesting because there again, I'm a history nerd, and it's like, wow, okay. Didn't realize they had these kind of tanks. Cool. So I get home and I'm kind of be like, I finished lunch, I finished dinner, and I'm like, you know what? Be like, I've not heard anything of this certain artist or a alter ego of this artist in a very long time. So I'm looking up on YouTube. I'm like, okay, YouTube, type in this, fictional character's name and look up. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember this photography. Probably most people don't know what I'm talking about at this point.
You've given no hints.
I know I haven't. So here's the title of this photography. VH1 Behind the Life of Chris Gaines.
Who?
Exactly.
I don't know Chris Gaines.
It is back in 1999. A little R&B rapper, producer, or soul R&B artist known as Babyface was going to produce a movie called The Lamb. And they hired Garth Brooks to play the older version of Chris Gaines. So in run up to this movie being produced, Garth decided to make a greatest hits for Chris Gaines. And so doing so, they created a photography of the life of Chris Gaines. And this is this photography. I was like, I totally forgot this existed, but it's so cheesy and so campy. It's so good. It's so good that like this fictional character, and it's like, yeah, let's just say Garth Brooks can't act. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. But I watched it. I enjoyed the mess out of it, and it's like I thought I would just bring it up here. So yeah, it's on YouTube somewhere. So yeah, if you want to watch something that's just silly, that's played like real serious, but it's so cheesy, like it's worth a watch. So yeah, go look up that on YouTube. It's funny. So that is all I have been watching, unless I'm forgetting something, which most likely I am at some capacity.
I wouldn't know what it would be. But I have been watching a couple of movies about a certain character who is really neat and is filled with turtle meat. I've been watching the Gamera films.
As I reach to grab this big box.
Yeah, one of the big boxes.
Yeah, one of the big boxes.
I was able to get them pretty good deal, actually. But I now own like every Gamera film for some reason.
For some reason.
No, they're good movies. I mean,
yeah,
it's just it wasn't initially on my list of things to get because I was focusing on, Godzilla himself. But it's like, oh, I can get Gamera pretty easy. Okay, I'll do that. So now I have 13 films to watch, except I've already watched 3 of them. I've watched Gamera, the Giant Monster, which is a nice black and white film with a better transfer than Criterion's Godzilla. Just saying.
Okay.
I've watched Gamera versus Barugon, and hand me that box. I'm trying to remember what the last one is. Gamera versus Gauss.
Gauss.
Gauss is apparently the one that will return later because he's the closest rival that Gamera actually has. But it's fun, to be honest, because I'm enjoying watching them with the cheesy English dubs, because there's just something magical about cheesy dubs. And it's just it's kind of fun to watch, even though some of this is, well, Gamera is more made for kids than it is for adults. So there's just some more goofy stuff that happens here. So yeah, I've been watching the Gamera films. I watched 2 episodes of a brand new show.
Yes.
That I think you did forget to mention, because you said
yes,
you saw
I did.
half of it.
Yeah, I saw
half of the first episode. And that would be Ahsoka. And then I remembered, I need to finish watching Rebels.
Yeah.
So I'm also watching through Rebels.
Okay. So the story he just mentioned. So
he doesn't know what happened to Ezra.
No, I don't. So no spoilers. So be like, I'm watching this episode. I'm like, okay. Be like, I've watched this. I should be able to follow. I know who Ahsoka is. I've seen the Clone Wars. I've seen a little bit of Rebels. I should know this, right?
You had no idea, like any of the rest of us, that that Ahsoka was going to be Rebels season 5.
Nope, I had no idea.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah, that's what I understand. So I'm going through this episode. It's okay. I recognize this character. What happened to Ezra? It's like, okay.
Yeah, what did happen to Ezra?
What happened to Ezra? So, and it's just like,
I knew enough that when they mentioned they knew where Grand Admiral Thrawn was.
Yeah, I knew who Thrawn was.
When they mentioned that they knew where he was, I was like, I actually said, well, then where's Ezra? 2 seconds before they say, well, is Ezra there? It's like, how would you know?
So we're both in the dark in some fashion or form.
Yeah, I need to rewatch last season, but I wanted to watch through all of Rebels to get back to that.
Right.
It's been a hot minute since I've watched Rebels. I don't remember everything.
Right. So I started watching it, and I'd be like, I called. Oh, I totally forgot something that we didn't even mention. I didn't mention either. So
go ahead.
So let me finish.
Then I'll finish mine.
Okay. So, wow, I'm so scatterbrained today. It's not even funny.
What's new?
Yeah, Pussycat. Whoa. Forgive my hyperness, people. It gets a little crazy sometimes.
Not saying a word.
So
Sunday school was fun yesterday.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Anyway, what were you watching?
Okay. Like I was watching half of I want to say Rebel season 4, but it's not 4. It's Ahsoka, and it's like I need to go watch this, and then again, and earlier in the show we mentioned we did a crossover with Retro Rewind.
Yes,
and
so you watch
Star Trek
4: The Voyage Home.
Yes. So yeah,
Admiral, that'd be
whales here. At least the whales do something in that movie.
Computer. Hello, computer. Just use the keyboard. How quaint.
Love that movie. Anyways, continue, computer.
So yeah, Star Trek 4. I'd watch that too, of course. And then I also anyway.
Sorry.
Samurai Pizza Cats. I had to think.
Meow. Pepperoni.
You have no idea what
I know what you're talking about.
The anime who was localized without a script.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
They did the best they could in the writing to match lip flaps and try to figure out what on earth is going on here. I was watching that last night when I was over at Chase's. So, yeah.
Nice.
That was fun. Other than that, there was that movie I saw in theaters.
Yes.
Certain Azure Buggy movie. Blue Beetle.
Oh, okay. I was trying to make a Herbie joke. I was like, they made him
Close, but no cigar. That being said, if you ever make a Herbie movie and you have one that's blue as a joke, I don't think anyone will complain. Yeah,
how was it?
I enjoyed Blue Beetle. Actually, if the rest of DC stays at this level, I think I may be a happy person with it.
Okay.
Because it has the it had a good emotional story to it.
Okay.
It was not, up its behind like most of the Zack Snyder stuff was. It was not trying to be raunchy dirty like so many other DC ones have been.
Harley Quinn.
It felt like Wonder Woman.
Okay.
In terms of quality.
Okay.
So, yeah. And I think that's about it. So Jacob, what do we have in the news? You were doing so good.
Yes.
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why thank you, Dealit, and starting off a little bit of sad news in the world of animation. And I know this is a show that both me and Drew loved. It kind of both has brought us into the world of comics in a lot of ways. But Arlene Sorkin, the voice actress for the original Harley Quinn, has passed away at the age of 67. Arlene Sorkin, known to animation and DC fans as the original voice and inspiration for fan favorite character Harley Quinn, died Tuesday, August 24th at the age of 67. 67. The actor is also graced the screen for over 25 years and on recurring roles of the ABC soap Days of Our Lives. And so, yes, the original voice of Harley Quinn, Arlene Sorkin, has passed away. This is only a couple of... Didn't Kevin Conroy pass away this year as well? Or was it last year?
I think that was last year.
I think it was last year. So, yeah, another iconic voice from our childhood is passed.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that sad bit of news out of the way, and not trying to rush into all the good stuff, because, like, honestly, when I did the news for, which was supposed to be on Friday, for some reason I skipped over it. And so I wanted to rectify that. So, yeah. So, in a bit more news that's been coming out, apparently, I didn't know this, there is supposed to be a new Lord of the Rings animated film coming out. I did not know this. So Tolkien fans have been waiting a bit for the next animated adventure in Third Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Middle Earth. That's what I meant to say. Middle Earth.
Third Age, Middle Earth.
Yes. As Warner Bros. Discovery has bumped Lord of the Rings, the War of the Rohirrim.
Ride of the Rohirrim.
Rohirrim. Okay, Rohirrim. Okay, didn't know how to pronounce that, but thank you.
I'm actually guessing on that myself.
War of the Rohirrim was previously announced August 12th as a release date to December 13th, 2024. The shift is reportedly the result of several major financial flop date shifting prompted by the actor's strike. Let's see. We can skip over this. So we have if you're a fan of physical media and you like animation movies, this movie's coming out. I know the movie did not do well in theaters at all. DreamWorks animation action-packed aquatic adventure gets a home video release in this epic, this I would call epic. I didn't see the film, we didn't review it, but Rot, nah.
Is this Ruby Gillman?
Yeah, Ruby Gillman.
Kraken?
Yeah, Ruby Gillman. I couldn't. For some reason I was having a problem with Ruby. I was like, Ruben, Ruby. Yeah, Ruben, Ruby.
Ruby, are you mad at your man?
Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, collector's edition here, people. So yeah, go pick up yourself a collector's edition of Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. Will be available for digital on August 29th and Blu-ray and DVD on September 26th from Universal Picture Home Entertainment, called one of the best family films of the year, according to Roger Ebert. Fans can drive back into the unlikely hero tale with over an hour of bonus content. Okay, then. What I kept hearing, this was not a good film. But what do I know? I haven't seen the film yet. Eventually, this will get around to where we actually have to watch this thing. So, yeah. All right. So, we talked about it earlier. My voice cracked. Paramount Plus and CBS are planning to take Star Trek Day, which was a couple of days ago. Am I right?
No, Star Trek Day is coming up because it's in September.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because I thought Star Trek Day already passed.
So you've got First Contact Day.
Yeah.
That's back on April the 5th.
Right.
Because that's the date of First Contact in the movie. First Star Trek First Contact.
Yes.
And then Star Trek Day itself is on August 28th. Today.
Oh, today.
No, sorry. I read that wrong. It's September 8th.
September 8th. Okay.
The article came up said August 28th, but it was in bold letters. So I assumed.
Yeah, I just read it down here, September 8th. Star Trek Day is celebrating new heights this year on Friday, September 8th, with special Star Trek Lower Deck screening across the United States, Canada, and the UK. So yeah, we're getting Lower Deck season 4, as you've all probably already figured we're out. That we're going to review that,
but we aren't going to see it in the theater because it's not playing anywhere near here.
Which I think that'd be kind of funny.
It would be fun. It's just not playing anywhere near here.
Yeah. So a movie going into the last bit of news. So this was a movie that we talked about, I think, in the beginning of the year. That was one of those films that was possibly coming out. We didn't know if it was coming out or not, but apparently it is coming out. It's going to be released, I think, in theaters. I believe. I might be wrong. It might go to Netflix at this point.
And it is
the plucky clucky barnyard heroes of Aardman's Chicken Run is ready to fly the coop with a new adventure at the end of the year. Ahead of its official launch, Chicken Run: Dawn of the Nugget. Interesting title there. Dawn of the Nugget. Get your nuggets here. Will have its world premiere at the 67th BFI London Film Festival, October 4th through the 15th. Presenting in partnership with American Express. The Gala screening is Saturday, October 14th at the South Bank Central Royal Festival Hall. Is supported by the Mayor of London and Film London. So yeah, if you want to go see this film early, just go catch a plane ride to London and go watch this clucky film for us. Give us a review on this clucky Chucky. This isn't about a doll movie. So that's all I have for the news.
All righty. Then let's go ahead and jump into our talk on X-Men.
Or Spider-Man.
Previously on X-Men.
Meet the sulky, over bulky, kinda hulky superhero. A two-fisted and electrically transistored superhero. An exotically erotic
Say what?
and aquatic superhero. The Marvel superheroes have arrived.
X-Men, X-Men, it's the day, X-Men, X-Men, coming your way.
Spider-Man and hhis amazing friends, Iceman and Firestar.
And Wolverine.
Yeah.
And White-Eyed Gambit.
White-Eyed Gambit.
So yeah, we are doing something a little different
Little bit.
today because, fun fact, X-Men the animated series and Spider-Man the animated series 90s. I don't remember the year number, but anyway, they're actually in the same universe
They are.
together, and this one crossover is how we know this.
Yes.
So yeah, Spider-Man season 2, episode 4, The Mutant Agenda, which originally aired on September 30th, 1995. It's directed by Bob Richardson and written by Michael Edens. In this episode, Spider-Man seeks help from Professor Xavier and his X-Men about the mystery behind his own mutation. Beast advises him to hear Herbert Landon's presentation for a cure on mutation, but unknown to everyone, Landon's new cure is actually meant to kill mutants instead. Cast for this episode: Christopher Daniel Barnes is the voice of Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we see much of Peter actually in this these 2 episodes. David Warner plays Herbert Landon. Mark Hamill is the voice of Hobgoblin. Roscoe Lee Brown is the voice of Kingpin / Wilson Fisk. Maxwell Caulfield is the voice of Alistair Smythe. Laurie O'Brien is the voice of Genevieve. Joseph Ruskin is the voice of Lewald. Brian Keith is the voice of Uncle Ben. Warren Sroka voices young Peter Parker. Sarah Ballantyne as Mary Jane Watson. Did she actually speak in this?
Mary Jane Watson?
Yeah. She was on screen for like a hot second.
Yeah, I don't think she spoke.
I don't think she spoke.
No.
Susan Bobion plays Dr. Maria Crawford, and Linda Gary played Aunt May, who also didn't speak in this episode. No. Trivia for this episode, along with Mutant's Revenge, is a part of the Spider-Man the Animated Series ongoing storyline called Neogenic Nightmare. To the point where like every single one of these episodes starts with the name Neogenic Nightmare, which took me a little bit of time to find when I was looking through Spider-Man for these episodes. And the only reason I found it was because I saw a picture of Gambit's eyes, which are white with red pupils. While in X-Men, the animated series, his eyes are black with red pupils.
Yeah, a little bit odd.
Yeah. This episode and Mutant's Revenge is a crossover event with X-Men the Animated Series, of course. Animated series and features the main members of the X-Men, voiced by the same cast of actors from their own series. Eric Braeden was originally supposed to be the voice actor for the character Herbert Landon. However, Braeden was uncomfortable with voice acting, and story editor John Semper said Braeden gave a very wooden performance as Landon. So David Warner ultimately took the role as Landon. Do you know who David Warner is?
No, I'm trying to figure out who
you
he
remember
is.
Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country?
Vaguely, yes.
You remember the Klingon High Chancellor?
Yes.
who gets killed at the very beginning.
Yes.
That's David Warner.
Oh, no wonder I recognize the name now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's been in a couple other things, but that was the thing that jumped out to me.
And a few Star Trek films.
Well, yes, but he's been in some other stuff.
Yeah, I know.
The fight Wolverine has with Spider-Man at the end of the episode is inspired by a fight the two had in Spider-Man versus Wolverine #1. The Kingpin financially backing the Brand Corporation's mutant research was added to this adaptation for the season's ongoing Neogenic Nightmare storyline. With the introduction of the X-Men, every time the team comes together for a battle, you can hear the background, the opening credit music from the series. This episode is loosely adapted from Spider-Man The Mutant Agenda #1. Similar, this story seen here is centered on Spider-Man and Beast teaming up. It did not feature much of the other X-Men except at the beginning of the story when Archangel, Rogue, Gambit, and Bishop made a brief appearance at the X-Mansion with Beast. Spider-Man seeking help from Professor Xavier was added to this adaptation for the Neogenic Nightmare storyline and to feature a fight with the X-Men cast. It is similar to the reactive battle when Spider-Man and the X-Men first met in X-Men Volume 1, number 35. This is the first appearance of the second Hobgoblin after the previous Hobgoblin in season 1 two-part episode. Although, like the original, he is still voiced by Mark Hamill. Aside from the comic mini, The Mutant Agenda, the story also had a storyline in the Spider-Man comic strip. It's also based on that. I mean, the 3-issue miniseries had pages where you could place the strips in.
Interesting.
The original comic book for Spider-Man The Mutant Agenda did not feature Wolverine searching for Beast because the story didn't feature Wolverine at all in any of the 3 issues.
Because, of course, you got to insert everyone's favorite, schnick.
Well, yes. So, yeah, that's the end of the trivia I have for this first episode. What are your thoughts?
I was pleasantly surprised by these episodes. I enjoy, because they're, again, watching Spider-Man the Animated Series, which had really, really animation.
Yes.
And
it is a lot better animation.
Oh yeah, definitely. From
colors are weird, especially on the X-Men themselves.
Yeah, I agree, because the palette colors slightly off. Definitely when Cyclops uses his optic blast, it's pink instead of red.
Well, that's the thing, is that this one is using more pastel colors instead of the vibrant dark colors that the X-Men is using.
Yes.
Anyway.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the overarching theme of relying on your friends. You don't have to do everything alone, which is always a big theme with Spider-Man the Animated Series. That Spider-Man learned some big lesson at the very end. That you learn this quote unquote a dark secret from Hank McCoy. Hank McCoy. I know. I said Hoink by mistake. Hank McCoy, aka Beast.
AKA Henry McCoy.
Or Dr. Henry McCoy.
Dr. Henry McCoy.
Don't forget the doctorate. The big furry blue guy.
Well, he got his doctorate before he got turned blue.
Yeah.
I'm not the
only one. Thank you very much. So, like, we get the story where Hank, he's trying to cure his mutation, and through scientific experimentations going wrong, he turned himself blue and furry into the big lovable beast we all know and love. I enjoy the animation for itself, for what be like the because obviously you have Spider-Man, because you have to use a lot more acrobatic or very fluid animation when it comes to Spider-Man. So when they animate Wolverine, when they animate Beast, when he's doing his beastly thing, is like he's grabbing the things and flipping the whole bit. I love that animation. Now, the one thing I don't like is how they redesigned Beast for this episode.
They redesigned a lot of the X-Men characters.
Yeah, they slightly tweaked the animation styles, and the way they redesigned Beast was like, that's a little bit odd. I love the animation style. Do not get me wrong. The storyline they give Beast is great, except the character design. They redesigned it to where it's just like it's so funky. Now, Grant, I enjoy a larger more imposing Beast.
Yes.
Where he's big. He's bigger than everybody else. Where in X-Men, the animated series, he's about everybody else's size. So be like, I enjoy the story. I enjoy the villain's assistant who winds up being a mutant, which be like
we don't find out till next episode.
Yeah, but we kind of gathered she was mutant anyways. And they're gonna be like, it's an enjoyable 2 set of episodes. We don't really we get to see, because obviously it's be like, you got to put Wolverine in it, and like it's fun, it's entertaining. We get the, like, again, like most Spider-Man episodes, it's more like, okay, we got to solve this mystery of who's the Goblin, who's this, what's going on, what is Gene Jones just trying to destroy Spider-Man for this time. Like, hey, Spider-Man sneezes wrong, James is gonna try to, crucify him in the public's eye. It's like, he sneezed wrong, he's a menace.
J. Jonah was not in this.
No, he wasn't. But it's like, I thought it was more like, it's J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
He hates Spider-Man. But obviously Jonah is not in this show. This episode's, I don't think. But I do enjoy the story of how it evolves around eugenics and trying to Spider-Man wants a cure. He goes to Xavier. Obviously, Xavier can't cure a mutation. And ultimately, he winds up going to someone he met in the past. I can't remember who that character was. You remember? The character he meets at the very end of the episode, where he gets the big moral lesson, be like, that to rely on my friends, and I'm not alone in this. I know she's connected with Kraven.
I don't know the name of the character.
Okay. It's another scientist, because I think Beast points Spider-Man to her, I think. Which, why don't you go there? But this would be a pointless plot if we just went to her. Because it'd be like, it's great. You get this great crossover with the X-Men, and then later on with other Marvel characters. And
oh, sorry, that was Dr. Maria Crawford.
Thank you.
Sorry, I had to go back and look it up.
You're fine. I just couldn't remember her name. It's, again, this is a good episode. I enjoy it. I enjoy the change of pace in animation, minus the way they designed Beast. That was a little bit odd. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I wish they would animate X-Men the animated series this way. I think it looks better animation wise. Just keep Beast the way he was, make him bigger. That's all. Thoughts?
I agree with you on the models.
Yes.
The character models did feel more alive, I guess is the word I'm looking for. That's the thing about X-Men the animated series, is the art style that they're going for was hard to animate in general. But at the same time, it feels like it's like barely animated sometimes. The characters for the most part felt alive.
Yeah.
In just a different way. I do think they should have looked back at the animation for Gambit and colored his eyes correctly.
Yeah, agreed.
Because that just throws you off completely. But I mean, the rest of it was like, and granted, most of the other X-Men are only there for like, see, the X-Men are here.
Yeah.
While Spider-Man's breaking into the mansion. And I still like that line from Spider-Man after he hears Storm say, "You want her goddess weather summons," and he says, "Power of webs, get more sticky." It's like
typical.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, sounds right.
But it was fun. It was a good episode. I liked the way they set it up, and with X-Men, with Wolverine and Spider-Man trying to get in there and save Beast. I thought that was done well. Here's the thing. Nowhere in X-Men the animated series, when Wolverine is trying to sniff out people, does he get on all fours?
No, he never does.
So that was a little weird here. But other than that, it was fine. I love it was nice getting villains that we have not seen in X-Men.
Yes.
Not that I expect them to show up in X-Men, but it was nice seeing them in here just to give more weight to the world. I will admit I was surprised that Mark Hamill's Hobgoblin sounds pretty much like his Joker. And
a little bit.
Both in terms of acting and in writing.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. But yeah, I mean, it was a good fun episode and a nice breakup of from what we've been watching with X-Men so far. But yeah, you ready to jump into the next one?
Yeah.
All right. Mutants Revenge, which first aired on October 7th, 1995, directed by Bob Richardson and written by John Semper, Michael Edens, France Moss, and Ted Peterson. Landon kidnaps Beast and plans to use him for his experiments. Wolverine believes that Spider-Man was involved in the kidnapping.
Of course.
The cast list is the same as the first episode, so I'm not going to repeat it.
Okay.
Trivia: the X-Men were voiced by the same actors from X-Men the Animated Series. However, since the Spider-Man show records the voices with all actors present, it had been expensive to get the X-Men voice actors to fly via airplane from Canada to Los Angeles to record their dialogue for Spider-Man.
Makes sense.
Although in this episode she is listed in the voice actors, Catherine Disher does not provide the voice of Jean Grey in this episode, as Jean didn't speak at all.
No.
In fact, Jean is only seen once in the entire episode when Beast explains to the other X-Men who just arrived about what happened to Herbert Landon. Beast admits his early work was about trying to eliminate his mutancy, and a brief flashback shows a human-looking Dr. Hank McCoy. This makes sense with his flashback appearing on X-Men as Hank McCoy started to become blue and furry as a teen, but tried to look a bit more human as he did in flashbacks with the original 5 X-Men. Beast wanting to look more human was one of the themes in the Spider-Man Mutant Agenda comic miniseries. This episode is based on, of course, Spider-Man the Mutant Agenda number 2 and 3. Landon turning into a giant slobbering slug-like mutant creature that feeds on energy is what was altered for this episode. The change was made to parallel Spider-Man's worst fear in the Neogenic Nightmare Saga and shows Spider-Man and the X-Men team up to defeat Landon and help him become somewhat normal again. At the end of Spider-Man Mutant Agenda number 3, had Landon turn into a scaly, crusty, slobbering mutant creature, but he was rather quickly defeated by Spider-Man and Beast. However, he never returned. Was or able to cure and was never seen again in the comics.
Kaiju!
It turns out Landon's assistant Genevieve was actually a mutant all along, and she was the one who rescued Spider-Man in the auditorium when the ceiling caved in the last episode. Beast offers to introduce her to Professor Xavier, but she is never again seen on the series or in X-Men, the animated series.
One done characters. You gotta love them.
Pretty much. This is pretty much a lot like the first episode we reviewed. It makes sense. It's a continuation of that story. I will say that I kind of want to go back and watch this whole Neogenic Nightmare storyline just so I can understand more of what Spider-Man is dealing with in these episodes. Because just coming in for these two, it's not bad. You understand what's going on to some degree. They give you enough information, but it does feel like we're missing a lot of stuff. But other than that, the episode was good. We had a nice, good fight scene. Hobgoblin got stuck in the stairwell. That was funny. But the whole thing with Spider-Man trying to hold up the cage with Beast in it while he's barely holding on to Wolverine, and Wolverine will not wake up. That's like, Beast, throw him! Throw him!
He'll be fine.
He will heal. He won't if he hits the juice, but throw him into the monitor. He will survive. The other thing I want to point out,
thank you later.
I want to throw in here is the 3D, the 3D stuff that they throw in here. I know this was popular at this time in cartoons, and Spider-Man did it a lot better than what X-Men tried to do in the first couple episodes, with it just being part of the ending credits.
Yeah.
But there was some of that in here I was looking at and going, I would have preferred you kept that 2D than doing this 3D thing, because the 3D thing's not really working for this. It just kind of feels out of place.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's a good episode. It was a great story. I kind of wish that this was going to have something that would be an ongoing plot for the X-Men to deal with, because it really just feels like they're guest starring more than it being a legitimate crossover.
Yeah, agreed.
But it is what it is. I mean, how much of a crossover can it be if we don't get to hear our favorite semi-villain?
I am Magneto, master of magnet.
I don't have many of those left.
No.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. What are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I mean, like it's like the same, except we get more of the like, oh, here's the diabolical plot where their villain goes, ha ha ha, this is my scheme, ha ha ha. And you know,
you caught me monologuing.
Yes, and like you Beast, you know, philosophizing about, you know, life, and you know, Beast being Beast. Like, shocker, she's a mutant. Shocker that nobody got shocked by.
Shocker was not in this episode.
Oh, ha ha ha. Yeah, it was so much of a Vulture turn. It's not even funny. I know he wasn't in this episode either.
Turn?
Anyways. I go so venomed up in it. It's not even funny.
These aren't even. You're not even trying.
I know
That's
I'm
the
not,
thing.
I know I'm not trying. I'm being goofy and silly. I'm sorry. Be like, so
You're fine, dude.
yeah. Jacob being silly and goofy most of the time. Not be like that doesn't happen at all. No, of course not. But I enjoyed the episode. Be like, you get a kaiju moment. Kind of. He does go big.
Yeah, but not.
And he's sucking on energy.
Yeah, okay. I'll let it go at that, but it's like, anyway.
Because I kept thinking, it was like, Nate would really enjoy this episode. He probably did.
Back in the day.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's, you know, not like really big surprise. And it's like, oh yeah, he turns into a big kaiju. But like, he's the one to be like, I'm going to destroy mutants. He turns into a mutant. And he's a character. One of the characters he's actually used in the episodes, the oncoming episodes of Spider-Man the animated series. But I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Be like, this was an interesting treat to go into Spider-Man the animated series to watch X-Men.
So I did forget to mention earlier when we were talking about upcoming stuff, since we're not recording an episode next week, that does not mean that we're not got another episode coming, because we do. I can get this to open. Our next episode, we recording on September 8th, is the beginning of Bad Movie Month.
Dum dum dum.
And we're starting off with a guest.
That's right.
We somehow convinced Nate Marchand of the Monster Island Film Vault to come back and join us to review The Legend of Titanic. No, that I didn't say Titanic, The Legend goes on.
Or it's this way, actually.
I said The Legend of Titanic. So, yeah.
So it goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this quote-unquote not trilogy of Titanic animated Titanic films.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a third one, folks.
Yeah. Brace for impact.
Yeah. This is the one where the giant puppy-faced octopus sinks the Titanic because it got talked into it by the gangster sharks who are working with a bunch of people on the Titanic. And there's a woman on there who can hear can understand what dolphins are saying because their tear fell into the moonlight.
Oh my word!
This is going to be nonsense. I can tell.
Mhm.
Also for X-Men that week, we are going to be watching Family Ties and Bloodlines. So join us next week for that. You got anything before we cut out of here?
No, it's just this was the movie's great. These are good episodes. Yeah, so just stay tuned.
All right. In the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame. Deedlet,
come on.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day.
I tried, but fell off.
His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin, to see his photography. His letterboxd page at GGeorge759. His Twitter at GGeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast. On Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming. On YouTube at Cellcast. On Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
Who knew a family reunion could be that exciting?
Yeah. I got nothing.
Koi koi. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Hi, Bobo.
Hello.
Thanks for coming in at the very end.
Thanks, man.
We are about to record our Lower Decks crossover episode, but we're doing that off stream. So I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go, guys. We'll talk at y'all later.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.